Hey everyone, ShinNefzen here, bringing you the second week of the Let's Play Summer Blockbuster as presented to us by Freezing Inferno and Heavy Metal Mage. This week, Sonic 2, considered a speed challenge, considered a score challenge, maybe even considered a skill challenge. I'm not gonna lie, coming at you again in post-commentary, because good lord, I thought playing Contra and talking at the same time was tough, but man, this makes Contra look like fucking Sesame Street, I'll tell you what. Now, this sadly is not my best run on this first stage. A few times you make a jump right here, and you can get a shortcut to the exit. Sadly, I didn't make it this time. Normally, I can make it up there on the 30-second mark, and every time I did end up doing that, I'd end up failing horribly in the rest of the run. Like, just like, die 3 times at the next Robotnik, drown, you know, stupid stuff. So, I finally got to the point after just playing this for an hour that I was like, alright, this is the run. This is right here. But this one that doesn't end up being too horribly bad. So anyway, a quick run through of the challenge here. It is ultimately a score challenge. Basically, at the end of the 15 minutes, whatever your score is, that's your score. That's what we're going by. Now, in some ways, you consider that a time challenge as well. Get this hidden one up right here. Because if you can beat a stage in under 30 seconds, you get a huge 50,000 point bonus. Which is pretty ridiculous, and why I was trying to go for it so hard in the first stage, because that's the easiest one to get it in. Sadly, it wasn't meant to be in this run, but we ended up doing pretty alright. Now this year, I said on the forums that I did prefer Sonic over Sonic 2. It's still true. Not that I don't like Sonic 2, I just prefer the first one. That's the one I grew up with. You know, when I was a kid, I had the Nintendo, my cousin had the Genesis, and she had, in the game she had Sonic, and that's about it. Maybe 1 or 2 other games, like Wheel of Fortune, and she did end up eventually getting Sonic 2, but we always just ended up playing the original Sonic. That's the one, you know, we grew up with when we were used to. And for those of you too young to remember, Sonic 2 came out a year after Sonic 1, when a date Sega now famously referred to as Sonic Tuesday. So, guess what day of the week it came out? They always had gimmicks back then with games releasing, naming, you know, making up fake holidays, the Sonic Tuesday. You know, back before the internet was prolific, it was just game magazines and stuff like that. You had to come up with fancy gimmicks to sell your games. Sega finally had its mascot, and, well, now they needed to make a sequel. And the original Sonic was packed in a lot of the Genesis systems, so it wasn't a hugely profitable title. It's kind of like the Wii Sports. Everyone got one, but it didn't really make the company a lot of money because it was a pack-in. Of course, later models of the Genesis removed the Sonic pack-in, and eventually went to Sonic Spinball, now that I think about it. Now, this part here tripped me up a couple of times. Basically, my first few attempts, I'd always miss the second platform and fall back into the water. But eventually got to the point where I never messed the jump up again. Got so used to doing it. The platforming in this game's a little... If you're not used to it, it's definitely a little tricky. It's dealing with Sonic's... he doesn't stop on a dime. You know, this isn't like Mario. God, Mario doesn't even really stop on a dime most of the time. But it's not precision, you know. It's not like, here's a little platform, I'm going to stop right on top of it. I'm going to short my jump a little bit, so by the time the inertia takes over and I finish skidding forward, I won't fall off. Had a lot of stupid deaths at this Robotnik too, basically just me being careless. I didn't get to the bonus stage in this particular run in this stage, but finishing with 119 rings and 100 points per ring, it definitely made up for it. Going back to the 30-second thing, if you can beat a stage under 30 seconds, you get 50,000 points. If you do 31 to 45 seconds, it's 10,000, and up to a minute is 5,000 points. So it's still a decent number of bonus points if you do pretty good. I hate these mole guys in this stage. They just bust out of the wall. It's not the last one that'll catch me off guard. So it's definitely, you know, if this is a game you know well, it's really easy to rack up the bonus points. Unfortunately, I don't know the game that well because I just never played it that much. So this is maybe like the third time I've ever played this stage ever. In my practice takes, I always just concerned myself with the chemical zone stages, so I never even got to these stages here in my practice runs. So this here is literally my first run through this stage. Sadly, 4 rings shy of getting the bonus stage here. In one of my takes, I was really irritated. I got to the bonus stage and I missed the tails, walked right into one of the little iron spike bomby tile things and lost 4 coins, and guess how many coins I lost by? Lost 4 rings and ended up losing the Chaos Emerald by 4 rings. So I wasn't really happy on that run. But that's not the one we're looking at, so I guess I can't complain too much about it. Then your time bonus goes down 1,000 points every 30 seconds. So even if you can complete it in a couple minutes, you can still end up with maybe 1,000 bonus points. It's not amazing, but, you know, you take what you can get, especially in a score challenge, when, you know, fate can be decided by a couple thousand points. Although I don't expect anyone to catch up to rate, you know, that 160 some odd trillion points that he had. I think one reason I never really got along with this version of Sonic is the proliferation of underwater stages. I don't like underwater stages. I don't like that noise the game makes when you're about to run out of air. Is my audio desyncing? Yeah, that is weird. I've never had my audio desync the way I record my videos before. Got not random technical issues. Yeah, the way I record these videos is the way I record my LPs. I use Cam Studio. I record gameplay and my voice at the same time. I've never had the game audio desync before. I don't even know what could cause that. That is interesting. Wow. This is like the 430th some odd video I've recorded, and the first time I've had audio desync. That is just weird. Anyway, back to the game. Right, I've got this has me wondering. This is actually one of my favorite Robotnik fights. It's pretty simple, but I just like the mechanics of it. Obviously, what you got to do here is you'll pound on one of the columns. It'll randomly shoot an arrow to the other side. You got to jump on the arrow and use it as a platform to hit Robotnik's machine. Man, I can't get over that desync. Jeez, I'm going to have to go look over the couple of videos I recorded last night just to make sure those are working. Alright, that Robotnik really isn't too much of a problem, despite the fact he is one of my favorite fights. And after this, we're going to be entering one of my favorite zones. Ha! That is funny. Going to a casino, the casino zone here. There's a zone similar to this in the first Sonic. Now, if you're lucky and you don't mind taking up some time, you can use some of the giant slot machines stationed throughout the stage to potentially rack up some huge points or potentially die. Or just randomly fall into really misopportune spikes. I've always liked these casino stages. Maybe because I like casinos. Design's always interesting. There's always cool gimmicks. Man, that audio is throwing me off. I get into basically these giant pinball style machines. Some of them look more like regular slot machines. Some of them resemble more pinball machines. You can get lots of bonus points just by bouncing around a bit. See, you getting 10 points just for hitting those star bumpers. I get stuck here for a few seconds. And you drop in there. That was a nice opportune hop. Get a good number of bonus points there. All these here are similar to pinball machines. We've got these plunger things. You just hold the button down and they'll launch you forward. Now, for the most part, I'm not like trying to just milk these things for points. I'm just trying to get through the bloody stage. But there are so many bumpers and things that it can sometimes be pretty rough to get out of it. Especially these larger machines like this, you can get, if you get unlucky, you can get stuck in them for quite a few seconds. At this point, I'm just desperately praying for a bonus stage to pop up. 'Cause this far in, I know I can get the Chaos Emerald for the bonus points. It's just, you certainly notice that I'm not really running across that many checkpoints. I don't think I hit any in that last stage. Now there's an example of one of the slot machines. You can hop in the middle there, and if you land on 3 rings, you get a whole bunch of rings. But if you land on a whole bunch of Robotniks, well, you get hit with a bunch of spikes, and it takes away all your rings. I don't think the spikes can kill you if you have 0 rings, but don't quote me on that. Finally, we see our first use of the speed shoes in the run here. Speeds up the music to go with our increased speed. Finally a checkpoint, but I lament, no, I don't have the 50 rings necessary to open the bonus stage. So at this point, I've pretty much given up and just hoping to stockpile as many rings as I can and get to the end of the stage. Here I was kind of paranoid that I was at a bottomless pit, but I don't think there are any. There was a hidden spot there that I fell back out of. Alright, it should be right about up here. We fly down here. Slot machine. We're going to head to the bottom. And yay, a checkpoint. I like how it's... now it's just funny with the audio desync. It's the wrong music. Alright. Our goal here is to collect a certain number of rings by each checkpoint. First checkpoint's 40 rings. And the layout of the rings stays consistent in each difficulty of this. So the first time you go to the bonus stage, it'll always be the same ring setup. The second, and if you get the Chaos Emerald, it goes to the next difficulty, which will always have the same ring set up until you beat it. So you can use that to your advantage. If you fail the first run, just try to memorize where the rings are. And don't hit those bomb-looking things. They take away your rings. I actually had a friend of mine who, like, he had a Genesis when he was growing up. He had the Sonic games and the Phantasy Stars, and he was. It had been a number of years since he played Sonic 2, and I had it on PS2, the Sonic Mega Collection. And he's like Sonic 2. Oh man, I haven't played that in years. So I'm like, all right, man. Well, let's boot it up. So, he's playing the game, and he gets to the bonus stages. He's like, man, I did these so many times, I can do it without looking at the screen. I'm like, of course, I'm like, yeah, okay, you're full of shit. He's like, watch. And he, like, literally turned away from the television and ran through the bonus stage without looking at it and got the Chaos Emerald. I was like, that is ridiculous. And one of those things that are like, you wouldn't believe it unless you saw it. I saw it, and I still can't believe it. Well, that was a good time. Now we're at the Robotnik fight, but too bad I'm not going to have enough time to get through it. I think I pause it right here. Yep. Alright, not too bad with the score. So I'll see you next week for the Week 3 challenge. Thanks, everybody, for checking out Week 2. And I will see you in the next week of competition and going forward. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you soon.